In Saiki K, the Dark Reunion is a product of Kaido's Chunibyo mind, his delusional coping mechanism to make himself feel powerful. But what if it wasn't? What if the Dark Reunion really existed? What if this was all an act and what he was saying about it was actually true? How powerful or smart would this organization be? To answer that, we're going to analyze it through the lens of Kaido, taking each statement and action of his that are supposedly done to counter the Dark Reunion, and see how truly terrifying they can be. But before that, if you have any video suggestions, leave them in the Discord. That's where I'll be collecting all ideas. And if you enjoy this type of content, the goal is 20k, so if you enjoy, sub up. We are first introduced to the Dark Reunion in episode 1. They're a secret society whose goal is to create a new world, an evil organization. In doing so, Kaido assumes they're going to steal the dark force called Black Beat that dwells in Kaido's Shun, aka Jet Blackwing's right arm, and intends to create a new world with that power. Then Kaido frames himself as a sole savior against this catastrophe. In his mind, only a chosen hero with secret powers or superpowers like himself and someone like Saiki, as he mentioned, stands between this organization and total world domination. As such, I have a theory as to why this is important, but more on that later. However, this baseline statement could mean they control Earth's governments and systems behind the scenes, placing the Dark Reunion as a planet-level threat to start. Continuing from episode 1, when a poisonous snake is said to have escaped a facility, Kaido immediately assumes it's an assassin sent by the Dark Reunion to eliminate him. He gives it a quite heavy name, calling it the Murder Dragum Snake, a snake created in a top-secret Dark Reunion lab, even when it turns out that an elementary school kid casually beat it up. In doing so, Kaido cries in a toilet. But of course, we can't forget, in Kaido's mind, Saiki is also a part of the team. But it actually turns out Saiki saw a future where the snake actually slithered into a classroom and retreated with him. Yet during the actual snake incident in the class, when Kaido risks his life to fight it, Saiki steps in and uses his power to neutralize the threat, allowing Kaido to take the credit for it. But here's a twist. Kaido thinks the snake was sent for him specifically, but in reality, the snake incident perfectly forces Saiki into an environment where he might reveal his abilities, meaning the Dark Reunion wasn't targeting Kaido at all. They were testing how Saiki's powers function in such a situation. Kaido believes he's deceiving their eyes, but in truth, his Chunibyo delusion makes him the perfect bait placed near Saiki, which would be the biggest obstacle for the Dark Reunion if it actually exists. This suggests the Dark Reunion can maintain distance while secretly spying on Saiki, using Kaido and others as tools to guide him into the right direction. And as I mentioned in my Teruhashi video, the world of Saiki K is designed by God, meaning none of the events that happen around him should ever be a coincidence, whether that be not being able to read his best friend's mind or attracting other supernaturals to the school. In this sense, Kaido randomly selecting Saiki as an ally should not be a coincidence as well. In chapter 11 or episode 3 of the anime, Kaido reveals his so-called true origin. According to him, he was once an A-rank soldier of the Dark Reunion, and upon discovering their true goal, Kaido claims he stole a powerful relic known as the Panelize, the Stone of Ruin, which is a key part of their plan. Cornered by the organization, he used a forbidden technique called Phantom, reducing himself to a wandering spirit. That spirit, again according to Kaido, then drifted into another dimension and merged with the body of a newborn, thus rebirthing him as Kaido Shun. In Kaido's mind, this explains why he always felt different from everyone else, a chosen warrior blessed with destiny. But to us, this new perspective further supports the idea of God within the universe. Later, Kaido becomes convinced that another Dark Reunion operation is underway when a mysterious occult expert approaches him. The man instructs Kaido to perform a barrier ritual, demanding that he remove all metal items and place them into a special bag. Kaido obediently hands over his wallet and coins, believing this is necessary to activate a protection spell. In reality though, the man was just a con artist stealing wallets from a mind of a gullible Chunibyo kid. Despite this, Kaido still fully commits, and after the ritual, the scammer celebrates privately, laughing at Kaido's delusions and planning to steal even more by claiming Dark Reunion did it. But it turns out, Saiki was listening the whole time. He cuts the lights, creates an explosion, and the con artist panics, believing the Dark Reunion is actually real. Saiki is the one who triggered the blackout and the illusion, retrieving the wallet and stopping the scam. But again, Kaido interprets this incident as Dark Reunion attacking the ritual site, completely missing that Saiki saved him from a con artist. But if you use the theory of Saiki being destined to be with Kaido to prevent the Dark Reunion, then this event could have yet again been another opportunity for the Dark Reunion to observe Saiki's power in secret to test his limits. However, you could also make the point that Saiki is in Kaido's life to make him feel comfortable in a school environment where most people will judge him based off his Chunibyo appearances, much like he's one of Nendo's one and only friends. But this brings us to the real question. We've been treating the Dark Reunion as a literal thing, but to truly gauge its strength, we have to look at what it represents. Narratively speaking, the Dark Reunion is a complete manifestation of Kaido Shun's adolescent psyche. It's his Chunibyo coping mechanism. In reality, Kaido is physically weak, shy, his aura is the same as a squirrel, and his guardian spirit is a chihuahua. Even started high school with no friends. To cope with this inadequacy, his imagination created a grandiose delusion. The jet black wings, a chosen hero. And every hero needs a villain. Dark Reunion is a classic externalized antagonist, a villain that is in truth a reflection of the hero's inner conflict. Kaido's conflict is his deep-seated fear of being insignificant. Therefore, he created an enemy that is all-powerful. Because the more powerful Dark Reunion is, the more important and heroic he becomes for being the only one who can fight them. The show even plays into this in both comedic and narrative aspects. When Kaido uses his powers, the track of Judgment Night starts to play and the camera angle gets dramatic. We, the audience, see the world as Kaido does. It's a kind of contrast to Saiki, the actual god-tier psychic who just wants a normal life, versus Kaido, the normal boy who craves a fantasy life, or more accurately, a life with friends. Dark Reunion is a story Kaido tells himself to be the best version of himself, a psychological shield against a mundane world that terrifies him. But after all of this, how strong is the Dark Reunion? If we scale them literally as a real faction in the Psychic universe, the ambition of world domination and plans to steal psychic powers place them at a solid planet-level threat. And if the Hax is truly capable of sealing and stealing the reality-bending abilities of someone like Psychic Suo, their potential scales to multiversal plus. But their symbolic power is even greater. In narrative terms, Dark Reunion's strength is immeasurable. They are as strong as Kaido needs them to be. They are a construct of belief, and as such, they are stronger than reality for Kaido. No matter how many times he's proven wrong, the legend adapts and persists. It's the invincible, psychological fuel for his heroism and his entire identity. In the end, Dark Reunion cannot be defeated by Saiki or anyone else, because they don't exist in our reality. They exist in Kaido's heart. It's a grand, global threat that gives him the strength to face the small, daily trials of PK Academy, and the fantasy that ultimately led him to find real friends. Oh, but you have to remember that Teruhashi made Kaido graduate from Chunibyo with just a simple few words, placing her above the Dark Reunion. But if you want a detailed video on Teruhashi, go check this video right here.